What's going on, YouTube? I'm your host, the Gym Slasher CJ3, back at it again. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The elephant in the room, yeah, I got cleaned up a little bit. No more, I got my locks, had to move on. Nothing, and I think I may get into that in terms of my explanation of it's a story on it. If you want to hear it, I have no problem getting into that. But it's just more so of the maturation process of the next thing that I want to do. I said at the starting part of this year, I was going to be working and moving through some changes. That was one of them, and I'll get into that because I think it may help other people as they go on their journeys of their lives and stuff. So with that being said, I'm gonna get right into it. What happened? Lakers. They went from being in the middle of the pack to now being in contention of the playoffs or a championship contender, Western Conference contender, NBA Finals contender. What was going on? What changed? As an athlete, and you watch team sports, and when you see teams that kind of stay in the middle of the water, and then all of a sudden you see this spike, right? The team doesn't necessarily change. I mean, you may have a couple of trades or a couple of little people coming off of injury, but typically when you see a spike or you see a level of elevation in a positive, as an athlete, I tend to believe that there was some kind of multiple of conversations. Some people call it the come to Jesus moment. Some people call it an epiphany, a spike in synergy in a team. There's something that occurred, right? And that's where I kind of lean to in this conversation is I believe, and I don't have any inside sources. This is just pure entertainment. This is just me coming off of my dome in terms of just my experience and perspective. Now, granted, let me be clear. I am a Laker fan, 100%. Y'all know that. I'm a LA everything fan. So, but I am want to put up my biases slightly to the side, not away, but slightly to the side, just because I also, if I wasn't a fan, I think this would be a good evidence or a good experiment, a good group to experiment on in terms of to analyze to see how this happens. And when teams get on these streaks in jail like this, and you're just like enamored by it. Let me first say this: Luka is playing out of his mind. If he's not an MVP candidate, if he wasn't before, he should be now. I'm not saying that he should win it, but if there's a top five, he's definitely in there. Cade Cunningham, I had him on my list. Wembanyama, I had on my list. Obviously, Shea had him on my list. Jaylen Brown, I believe he's in that top five, in my personal opinion, at this point in time. Just to see he's leading the league in scoring. Now he's elevated. I believe what made him elevate is LeBron James. LeBron James, in my opinion, made the decision to say, you know what? I'm not where I once was. I'm not to say I don't believe that he felt like he was holding on to that and wouldn't allow Luka to take that one spot. But I think there was a uneasiness, maybe a slight awkwardness amongst the team internally to go, we all see this. Luka should be it, but is LeBron okay with us moving in this direction? And you had a lot of inside, outside theorizing sources of LeBron not wanting to pass the torch, or LeBron, believing he should be one. And don't appreciate the way he's been treated with the organization, the admin, and pushing Luka in the front and moving him to the side. Is it true? Is it not? I don't know. You've heard both sides of that conversation. However, it's not a coincidence that now all of a sudden you see Luka really take off, and you see the Lakers synergy. You watch them; they're believing in each other, they're trusting in each other, they're trusting in they're going to make these plays. I can't ignore the fact that one of the greatest players of all time, LeBron James, is on that team. And you can see the way they're playing. LeBron is deferring to the three option, to the third option. And depending on who's in, if Austin Reeves is out and it's Luka and LeBron is that second, Aiden is that third. But if they're all three on the court, LeBron immediately goes to that third option in the way they are setting their offense. And that only could have happened with LeBron saying to JJ Redick, to saying to the team, and saying, Luka's got to be one. We got to run this through Luka. We got to run this through Austin Reeves. I can be here and I can be effective from this level and from this style. And to see that, you can clearly see that he told them this, because now you're watching Luka with no inhibitant. This is probably the best Luka I've seen since Dallas, since, he knew he was the man in Dallas. There was no question about it when he was there with Dallas. Jalen Brunson was there and all this other, that was a cool thing. You had Kyrie there at some point, but it was clear that he was the man. It was him, right? When he came to the Lakers that last year, the first season being last season, the first that half and going into this season was still in question of, is it Luka's team? Is it LeBron team? Is LeBron, where is it? Where AR at? Is he going to get traded? Is it just going to stay here? It was these questions. And I think those questions kept coming on, but I think LeBron understanding the moments and understanding that, hey, this team don't go anywhere without Luka being at one. We'll thrive. With LeBron doing that, you now see everyone being at ease. It's actually a relief, right? And LeBron has set the tone to say, that's the man, and let's go in his direction. I'm willing to take the back seat in order for this team to be at their best. Luka has not had technical fouls in this 8-game win streak. I don't know if anybody's paid attention to that, but he's been averaging pretty much a technical foul every 3 games. It's about his average. I think he's at 16, 17 techs. It's the average, about 1 tech every 3 games. In his win streak, he hasn't had not one. So I believe somebody had a conversation with him about that and saying, listen, you go the way this team goes. If you are in that mode, we lose. It drains the team. We need you to lock in. It's not a coincidence, right? When you're seeing Ayton playing the way he's playing, when you're seeing AR playing the way he's playing, you got a coach on the court. That's LeBron. JJ Redick is doing an awesome job. JJ Redick has a very veteran coaching staff with Nate McMillan and Scott Brooks. Both of them have been there in terms of Western Conference playoffs or Eastern Conference playoffs, finals. They've been present in those things, so they have that experience. But to see LeBron take that role to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to be in this position and I'm going to elevate you guys to be in your position, says a lot about LeBron, says a lot about the Los Angeles Lakers, and they're going to be a problem in these playoffs. In terms of my fandom as a Laker fan, this season, I just kind of looked at it as a throwaway season, to be honest with you. I wasn't overly high. I wasn't overly low. I just looked at it as, we're going to play with what we got now. We're playing with house money in the offseason. We're going to make some moves, make some changes. LeBron is either going to stay with the Lakers or he's going to leave, and whatever. And I just kind of understood that that's what it was going to be this season, and it was OKC's pretty much to lose. I still feel that way overall. I'm excited to see the Lakers being relevant. I think it's great for the NBA for them to be in this kind of mode that everybody's looking at. It helps everyone. I still have OKC coming out of the West. I initially had Detroit coming out of the East, but Boston, now Tatum's coming back. That's changing things. But I still kind of hold to OKC, San Antonio in the Western Conference Finals, and I see Detroit and Boston coming in the Eastern Conference Finals. And right now, I'm still looking at OKC and Detroit being in the NBA Finals. That's early. That's a very, very early prediction. I know Cade Cunningham is injured, unfortunately, but I'm not now. I can't. Lakers have completely made some questions in terms of how the West is going to be won now. And I'm looking at the Lakers in terms of my expectations. Initially, like I said, I had the Lakers just at least going past the first round, getting into the second round, being competitive in that capacity, and then being bounced by either OKC or San Antonio. I'm now looking at this team, San Antonio, Lakers going into the second round and may potentially go against San Antonio. I like their chances, and that I'm still not buying into them beating OKC. That is a that is a formidable opponent, and it's going to take a lot of locking in. Lakers still got a bad bench. We got to play close and tight at 6 to 7 man rotation. But in the playoffs, that's usually what it is. So that may boast us in our shooting. Sometimes our shooting comes up and down in terms of clutch or threes and stuff. So we got to be able to knock down those threes. But those numbers have came up over this last 10 games or so in basically playing in March. Lakers can pose a problem, and I wouldn't be surprised if they beat San Antonio in a 2-3 matchup. In a 2-1 matchup, or Lakers against OKC in the Western Conference Finals, they found a way to. I would definitely be surprised, impressed, and surprised. I wouldn't act like, yeah, I knew that all along. No, but are they capable? If Luka's playing like this, with LeBron James playing in that role, you need more work you need more consistency from Ayton. They could pose OKC a problem. San Antonio is on the clock for sure, the way the Lakers are playing. But in totality, I think it's awesome to see what happens when you get buy-in, what happens when players begin to understand and accept their roles in the particular game or particular season in order for them to grow. For LeBron James to say, I'll take the back seat, that's not easy. I promise you. Trust me, as an athlete, and as you get older and aging, you got a lot of ego, you got a lot of pride. There's a lot at stake on that, and there's a lot of trust. I have to trust that I can take the back seat and trust that you will take this and take us into the promised land, if you will, and lead to the journey. That's not only I'm older now and I'm this. I got to trust that I can hand this to you and trust that you can lead the way I can lead. That's the other part, and that's the tangible that people don't talk about when we're talking about passing the torch or we're handing this over. Can you do that? It's not only the ego, because it is, and it's not only the prideful thing. It's not only the confidence in yourself and all that, but it's also, I can check all those boxes and say, nope, no ego, no pride, no this and that. But it's more so, I don't know if you can, right? And I think that conversation happened when it came to those technical fouls with Luka. And I think LeBron and whoever came in Luka and said, if you want to take over this and be the leader, you got to put those technicals aside, because you costing us the game. If you get ejected, that's 35, 40 points per game that's no longer here. And now we all got to pick up the slack. So I think to put those all together, it took LeBron James to say, Luka is our guy, team, it's him. AR, you go second, I got third, when we're all on the court together, and we'll make it work from there. And that's where you see the confidence. That's why you see the team elevate, even though the team by its core has been intact since game one. You had some couple of injuries and you added on a couple little trades, but the core itself has been there from game one. But now you're seeing them playing at their best. That's internal buy-in and internal acceptance of each and everybody's role. So with that being said, who are you? What is your mission? I appreciate you guys for sticking in and checking me out. I know it's been a while, but I'm going to try to get back in the groove of things. I had some trainings, had some other stuff more piled up because of this show, because of my IG, because of this. You guys have helped me, and I got more people, I got more work. So that's why I'm a little bit less for time, if you will. But I'm going to make more time, and I've been here. So with that being said, I appreciate you. Peace.